You've said there's no good time to do it. The president has to take his decision whenever he wants because he's the man who the buck stops at his table. That's right. But in terms of the decision and the reason behind it, the reason that we heard is because they have political ambition. But there is words flying around that is not completely true. How true is that?
Kayode, who do you choose to believe? Do you want to believe what you hear on the street, or you want to believe me, Doyin Okupe, who has just left the president and has spoken to him? Now, who do you believe? The story on the street, or the story from the mouth of the man who is talking to the principal? So, people are free to believe whatever they want to believe. When the central bank governor came on television and said 49 billion was missing, people believed it. When he came back and said it's not 49 billion, it is 12 billion, people believed it. Now that he's saying it's something else, so people can believe anything. Facts remain sacrosanct. That is the truth. So, what people are saying, in any country, people always have, even my wife has certain reasons why I do some things. When I know that she's wrong, she assumes that, I did this because of this. And I know in my mind that she's wrong. So how much more a whole country? We must begin to have respect for ourselves. Whatever the people believe is a different matter. But I know that, I'm not saying that perception is not important, but we are saying here that this is the reason, the time that this cabinet change took place. That is the truth.
Okay, Dr. Okupe, let me just clarify. The reason I'm asking the question is for you to either confirm and state the president's position again, because Nigerians do want to be reassured that whatever it is that is said to be the position of the president and the presidency should be reaffirmed by someone of your status. So whatever people will believe, they will believe, like you said. But we need you to reaffirm. Is it because of their political ambition, or are there other reasons? Some of the things we've read in the papers seem to point to something different.
Well, I know that for a fact that God's will Okupe wants to be governor of Delta State. I know for a fact that Olubolade, is a friend of mine, is somebody I have a lot of respect for. He has been nursing an ambition to run for governorship in Ekiti State. I know for a fact, I read in one newspaper, saying that the Minister of State for Finance is not very well known. The Minister of State for Finance is a front-line contender for the governorship of Yobe State. And let me tell you what, the moment the meeting, the Federal Executive Council meeting ended that day, the Minister of State headed straight to my desk and said, look, doctor, I said yes. He said, now, look, your people must support me. Talking about media, that, I've done so well. Now I'm going for this race. I need them to support me. He was even, in good mood, embracing people and all that. So what do Nigerians really want? And the people are saying that this is where we are going, and we are saying that there's something else. What else can it be? The man came to me on my desk and said, look, and I'm speaking gospel truth, I will not lie. The man said, look, doctor, I hope, joking, he said, I hope your people will now support me now that I'm free, and now I'm going to really work hard to get this seat.
But this is the information that some of us did not have. I wasn't at your desk, so I wouldn't know that you would have said that. Yeah. Now that you've said it, it throws a bit more light to what people were speculating about, that they were sacked for a different reason. But you've mentioned three of them. The fourth one, Princess Stella Odua, is she also looking to be the governor of a state, or has a different political ambition? Would you know? Are you able to tell us?
Stella Odua, you must understand, Stella Odua is a very strong political lady. And you remember that Stella Odua, it was who actually also powered the Neighbor to Neighbor program. Now, I don't see why people cannot also see that you know, this may also be a preparation for something else. You know, but you know, we are all political animals. You know, I've not seen Stella. The one, I mean, the people I've seen, I spoke to you about. I've not seen Stella. You know, since I mean, I don't think I've even met this year at all. So, but you know, I believe that she also, for whatever reasons, is not just governorship election that is political, that is of political interest to people. Some people may want to be part of the backbone of a new political process that is yet to be, I mean, to come to fore. You don't know. They may also want to support people, you know, locally in their state to do things you do not know. There are so many issues. And you know, it is right to speculate, but I, at this point, on this seat, I cannot speculate, and I cannot fuel speculation.
Okay, thank you very much. Finally, on this same issue, are there no other members of the cabinet that we all know or we all here are interested in political ambition for governorship or senatorial seats and things like that? Why were they not fingered?
I don't think you can rule that out.
Or asked to move on?
I don't think you can rule that out. But you know, the president will decide in his wisdom, you know, and in consultation. You know, let me also tell you, you know, this, I mean, the people that left, you know, a couple of days ago, you know, were not just thrown out. The president, you know, consulted with them, you know, spoke with them, and they came to some agreements. You know, so, you know, this, I'm sure these are things that are done in phases, you know, and at the same time, you must also understand, you must maintain some equilibrium in the federal executive. You know, so, you know, I believe this president is studious, he's careful, and, you know, in everything that he has done so far, and, you know, he has exhibited a lot of caution and understanding, and Nigeria is better for it. We are getting, you know, perhaps the best government service that we have ever gotten since independence. It is because of this calculated nature of Mr. President, this being very careful, not rushing things, not just being, you know, overpowered by the noise in the populace, but, you know, be remaining focused on his own agenda, which today is crystallizing to Nigerians, and people are changing their position about the president. Glory be to God.
Dr. Okupe, what would you say to those who are accusing government of recycling the same people? It's the same names you keep hearing. Somebody who was in the Senate is now being made a minister. Somebody who was advisor is now being made a minister. What would you say to people who accuse government of recycling?
In fact, what you have just done is to say what is absolutely very desirable. You know, if you remember, when Obasanjo was president first term, you know, during his second term, you know, I mean, majority of people who he placed in places were people who he had worked with for 4 years. He has understood them, they have understood him, and, you know, he trusts them. You know, people who are tested, the affairs and governance of a country is not something you will readily subject yourself to gambling or taking chances. If you know that Alero has done very well with channels, with Sunrise program and all that, and you want to do something similar, I will go for Alero than to take a brand new person. I rather use a brand new person to understudy Alero. So, you know, what you have said is correct. What you have said is desirable. It is something in the interest of everybody. People that are known, people that are trusted, people whose integrity can be vouched for, and whose assiduity and commitment to government and governance can be vouched for, are people that should be used. I mean, the president and this government administration has been far gone enough now to know which Nigerians can serve their interests best, and that is why this is being done.
Thank you very much, Dr. Okupe. We have to wind up this segment now. So, in closing, I'd just like Mr. Odutola, please, what is your last word regarding the the nominees and the whole process?
Well, I just feel that it is high time Nigerians are not taken for granted. One, it is time we do not have to wait for the president to sack ministers before new ones are brought into the fore, because when you have issues, I remember a minister in England who, because he employed an immigrant, there was an immigration issue, he resigned. But in Nigeria, when you have issues, either purchase of vehicles at a very expensive rate, or you are in one position, you have so much wealth that you have been accused of fraud that is glaring, this is the only nation we wait to be celebrated to step aside. We want people of integrity. Whoever the president decides to nominate, I believe Nigerians should see it as a mirror and a reflection of who the president is. There is a showcase completely. So if they fumble, the president is a fumbler. If they do good, the president is doing good. If they provide good service, not that you put a minister for power and we have epileptic power supply, minister for finance, we have dirty, tattered, silly notes that are currency circulated. You have minister for finance, the central bank governor is there, both of them at war. We don't want that system again. We want a change in the society.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank Dr. Okupe, Dr. Doyin Okupe, who joined us from Abuja, the essay to the President on Public Affairs. Thank you very much for being with us this morning.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be
here. As well as Mr. Tokunbo Dutola, who was with us in our studios in Lagos. Thank you very much. Sunrise will be right back in just a moment with yet another very interesting conversation.